So I think I screwed up my algorithm in my FYP because all of a sudden lately I've been seeing a lot of negativity surrounding the Jeep Wave and the ducking. Not so much negativity about the Jeep Wave, but snootiness, snobby stuff. And I don't understand it. It's a lot of people that are like, you get a new person, they're asking who should they wave at? Can they wave at Gladiators? Can they wave at this Jeep? Can they wave at that Jeep? And people are really quick to say what's real and what's not. And over in the course of my life, I've been involved in a lot of cultures and subcultures and communities, from the art community to the traditional hot rod world to choppers and bobbers and punk rock and all that kind of stuff. And, when I was younger, I was also quick to kind of be shitty about who's real and who's not, but now that I'm much older and a little bit more objective, I can see things a little bit differently. So for people who don't know where those two things come from, the Jeep Wave essentially is the V for victory. The GIs coming back from World War II, that was their brotherhood. That there's nothing on planet Earth that'll ever be deeper than that, and then it evolved from there, and then the Ducks started in 2020. This gal named Allison Parliament in Canada, young girl, she'd just see Wranglers that she'd liked, and she'd put rubber ducks on them, expecting nothing back. And that one girl, with that one token, that one gesture, changed the entire landscape of a culture that's been around since 46. It spread like wildfire. And who is gonna, how, a legacy that you leave behind. She passed away, I think, last summer or the summer before. And in a couple years, changed the entire landscape of the Jeep community. For no other reason than just being nice. And there's a lot of pushback on that. It's like when people leave Facebook, they got to tell everybody they're leaving Facebook. And like Bree would say, this isn't an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. And I would liken that to the rubber ducks. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. You don't have to. I mean, you tell everybody you have a shitty attitude about it, but if that's the hill you want to plant your flag and die on, then God love you. I love that for you. But what in 2025, what can you do in how jacked this world is? What other thing can you do along the lines of a goodwill token that you expect nothing in return? A lot of times it's completely anonymous. That's as cool as that, what a legacy for somebody to leave behind, to change an entire culture like that. And I get to a degree where some of this, the CJ guys built the culture, they took the biggest bite. They weren't fantastic vehicles. You had to work on them, maintain them, just like everything back then. But, a lot of the creativity that you see now in the aftermarket world came from these guys that were building these parts by hand and making their own custom stuff. And, it's easy. It's easy for anybody to go and buy a JL right off the lot and go to an event. Outside of spending the money, you've got no skin in the game. So I get that. It was the same way with the traditional hot rod world. I was like 24 when I built my first hot rod. And, back then, we didn't have any money. We were like the post-punk kids, building cars like they were building them in the 50s. And it was kind of like our defiance to all the credit card customs, the guys with the billet wheels and the $80,000 Chevelles and you know, they just send their car to the shop and have everybody do everything for them, and they show up at the car show, big shit, and, you know, we were kind of like against the grain. And then you had all the jagoffs after that were building their rat rods because they saw what we were doing and didn't understand it, and they were trying to mimic it, and it was a cartoon image of what the movement that we were a part of. So I can see where a lot of this comes from, but I don't understand it. You know, when I sell people a Wrangler, I sell them on the heritage, the lineage, the culture, the history behind the brand, you know, everything that's involved in it, because there's a lot to get out of it. You know, the community is the biggest one, because I've never seen a community like this of people that really want to just help out. You know, the Jeep Babes being the biggest example. You've got all these Jeep clubs, and they're all willing to help new people and get people involved in it. And so when you have something that's like the Ducks, regardless of what you feel about it, it adds to the culture. And I feel like, and I'm still new to the culture, I've only been doing this since 2020, but I feel you take things away from what people enjoy versus what are you adding to it, to the thing that you love? How are you cultivating it, you know, in a positive way, especially in a negative world, you know. But again, I kind of understand it, just because, again, you know, where once you used to be the one guy on the block that had the Wrangler, now there's 8. But it doesn't take away, I don't think it takes away from the history and the culture and what the community means to some of these people, you know. Even me and Bree and my family's been helped out by my Jeep community, and without asking. It's the most generous, almost hippie community that I've ever been a part of, and I don't like hippie stuff. So I don't know. I just wanted to address it. Not that my opinion means anything, but I just think it's ignorant and narrow-minded and kind of dumb. You know, when somebody wants to extend a hand in a goodwill gesture and you smack it away, you know. I think that tells me everything I need to know about you. You know, at this point, you know, we've got the 392, we've got the pink Rubicon, we've got the 83 wagon. My dad's got his Gladiator tricked out. He's got his 46 Willys. So my kid came from this silly brand called Jeep, because that's how I met Bree. So I try to do everything I can to enrich the culture, because I've seen what the bad sides of countercultures are. And I don't know. My FYP has been pissing me off, and I can't let go of the punk rock kid in me. So anyways, a lot of big cool things coming up. Big Jeep, big camp out next weekend, and then the end of the month is Silver Lake Jeep Invasion. So I hope to see you guys at stuff. Come see me at work. Sit at my desk and visit. Love to hang out with you.